welcome back to another video. I'm Cobras Gaming here, and today I'm playing some more Balloons Adventure Time Tower Defense. And today, we are back in the Martian games, because today we have a Send in the Clones challenge. So, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to guess. I mean, maybe it's a clue in the thumbnail, I don't know. Guess, which tower do you think I'm going to be using? It's in the party. You probably guessed wrong, unless it was super obvious from the thumbnail. It's Warrior PB. So I actually kind of want to do like this quarter of crazy ally one. So this could either be really, really broken or really bad, depending on if this ability stacks. Born to Rule, Royal Treasury, and Reinforcement Supply to everyone's allies. Cheaper allies and one additional ally. Does it stack? So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going to be asking today. If not, we still will be using some really powerful allies to see if they stand a chance. Not to mention 40 sword spam, so, I mean, you know, it's not like it's gonna be a joke. We're still gonna do pretty well. But yeah, so, I know discounts don't stack. So, for example, things like, Super Monkey, what's Super Monkey's ability called? Super Monkey's Heroic Aura, I think is the name. It's like a 10% discount. Yes, Heroic Aura, that discount does not stack, neither does Tuxedo Jake's discount. However, one discount, or not that. I'm not sure if extra ally upgrades count. So, for example, Commander Cassie and PB also have these upgrades. I don't know if they stack. So, actually, we already have a free ally slot. Let's throw in PB while we're here then. My plan is basically to, try it out with Warrior PB. If it appears very early on that it doesn't stack, we may try with, like, just quickly with PB, or we'll just see how well this build works in general, so, yeah. Let's get started. So, if you didn't know, allies are actually pretty useful for this game mode because they don't consist of a tower. You can still use them no matter what, and they're still usable no matter what, so they are really good for this. I do have all 4 Vampire Kings, as well as 5 Cobras and a bunch of BMOs, so we're in a pretty decent situation here, so, I mean, you know, that's pretty great. Idea is that preferably we just be able to get this straight up like BMO Island going here. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but there's like 4 of us. We don't have no Pierce. We don't have good Pierce, but we don't have no Pierce. Okay, so that's all 5 BMOs. Now we need to quickly get the Banana Farmer. Let's just shove him here too. And then I can either go for BMOs or immediately go for that. I'm gonna see if I can go for some BMOs. I think it's only 2 here in range, but I'm not positive. Yeah. So we only have I'm gonna turn off Water Start too, because I don't want to die. So we only have 2 BMOs available here. So we may or may not just be able to straight up go and buy all these upgrades. I think I want to try that. We're gonna see, this may or may not work, but if we can do it, it would be really, really cool if we just all of a sudden get any number of these upgrades. So this will be the last round, we wait, and then we're instantly gonna go for some defense. But the fact that we can basically start off with 5 Cobras and double BMO is kind of crazy. And now, we can just collect from our BMOs a little bit of cash, and then we can go for someone like you, Wildberry Princess, to wait. And yes, in case you're curious, I'm waiting for as long as possible to make that decision of what character I'm using. That was not a good ally choice. Sort of thins the crowd, but not a ton. Realistically, I think I'm going to save up for Vampire King next, and then we're going to go for Warrior PB. Actually, you know what? Here's the deal. Can I do this fast enough? Boom! Warrior PB has been placed. The time has come, because she gives slightly bonus income. So her range basically covers this entire island, so we'll just start over here. Vampire King is here. Warrior PB is here. Now I'm gonna straight up spam towards her Royal Treasury upgrades, because realistically, we got a Vampire King. This is a long map. We have a Warrior PB and a bunch of Cobras. We're not gonna die on like round 5 or 6, so we should be fine. So we need to save up $5,400 to buy Born to Rule. And then we're gonna find out, hey, does it stack? And no matter what, we're gonna double our Cobra count, so we're probably gonna get just a wee bit of money with our 10 Cobras, so it's just not gonna be a bad decision no matter what. No matter what, worst case scenario, we're ending up with 8 Vampire Kings. How many Tech Terrors? I think only like 4. We have 1 Tech Terror here, we have 2 Tech Terrors here, we have 3. So we ended up with 6 Tech Terrors, 8 Vampire Kings, and 10 Cobras, as well as 4 BMOs no matter what, plus a bunch of other stuff. So it's not exactly like we'll be in a difficult situation, even just with that. Pretty sure 8 Vampire Kings are going to do a pretty decent job regardless, but definitely Definitely would be better if we could get an infinite number of allies, correct? It really would be pretty crazy if you could get infinite allies, though, so I assume that's not the case. But we're about to find out. Born to Rule number 1 has been purchased. Time to spam as many Cobras as we can. Did not mean to do that. Okay. Cobras first. How many of these can I fit on this island? Because I know I'm going to run out of room at some point. One more Cobra in. I doubt we can fit all of these. That would be really cool if we could, but nah. No way, right? I believe we're out of space. There might be room for 1 or 2 more, but just about done. So let's move to the back island, because why not? Another Cobra. Let's just do another monkey farmer. It makes it look cooler, too. Okay, oh, okay, so we just need to quickly buy some vampire upgrades. We need a bit of extra help. Is that all the Cobras? Am I missing one? I'm not missing one. That's all of our Cobras. Then we have 2 more BMOs to go, so that's pretty important, too. Okay, so we'll buy both these upgrades. Buy, and then we want to collect them all, so they are just about in unison. Okay, that's all the money making. That was a lot. Okay, so then the next question is, basically, we're gonna place down a second. Let's just straight up go for 3 to start. 340 swords. It can never hurt anyone. And we're gonna see. We can't buy it again. So let's look at this. Currently, Cobras would be 300. The discount doesn't stack, but the ally count does. This actually worked. I was not expecting. Okay, so here's the deal. I really should have, but I did 0 testing for this in advance. So I full well expected this whole thing to fail. Heads up, it did not. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna sell my BMOs, because I don't want my BMOs. I'd much rather have an army of Cobras. Did I really place them all there? I thought I had 5. Do I only have 4? No, I do have 5. I just placed them all already. Okay. So second warrior PB. Boom, boom, boom. First things first, Vampire King upgrade, and then you know what we're gonna go for. A 3rd BMO set, or a 3rd Cobra set, because you know what? We would like maximum income possible. This is so crazy. So this is actually a strategy a lot of people could do. It doesn't, obviously, this only really works well if you have some powerful allies, but you can do this with as weak allies as you want, and it would still function properly. So I think we need probably 1 more warrior PB, because there is a cap of $10,000 per round, but we're not quite there yet, which means we can still fit more BMO or more Cobras in here, and it's still beneficial to us, so the Cobra spam continues. I can't believe this worked. This is such, like, this is a viable strategy. To be fair, I guess without it, warrior PB really wouldn't be a viable strategy, but still, I did not think that was gonna work. Like, look at this. How many warrior PBs am I gonna get here? We're gonna have to sell things off at some point, but first things first is insane money making. That's first priority. So I'm gonna fill this island, and then I'm gonna stop. I think that'll be the end of my obnoxious amount of Cobras, because this is quite the obnoxious amount. Like, that's our money cap. I'll place as many more as I can fit with this cycle, but then I'm done once we placed all those. So this is the last one, the last Cobra. Come on, there we go. Cobras haven't dealt with. I'm good. That's a lot of Cobras. So next, actually, we're gonna go. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place 1 warrior PB in the center here to get the buff, and then I'm just gonna circle her in Vampire Kings, and then I'm gonna do the same thing over here. Because funny thing is, you can actually sell these warrior PBs and still keep the same number of allies, which is just, every part of this is very nutty. Look how many Vampire Kings I'm getting here. Okay, I'm gonna ask you this straight up. Should I redo the, like, ultra buff ally videos for this situation, where we're just spamming them on, like, on a situation like this, where we can get, like, an infinite number? Like, this is so this is the same vampire. There we go. How many is that? That's 7 Vampire Kings. You know what? I might as well buy another one, because why not? Let's just keep placing more Vampire Kings. That's the wonderful idea ever. Most wonderful idea I've ever heard. Like, Cobras, or not Cobras, Tech tiers wouldn't necessarily be all that great in this, but Vampire Kings are the perfect option because they're still pretty cheap. And they're such easily spammable. So let's just, like, look at that poor monkey farmer. I feel bad for selling his friend, because look at how many stuff he's picking up. It's a lot of stuff. The balloons barely show up on screen. I know we're only around 16, but still. You know what, let's max out her sword upgrades simply so we increase the odds of her actually getting, the 40 sword effect. So these are our guys here. Everyone over here is meant to do the 40 sword stuff. And then everyone else is just going to be Vampire King crazy. Absolute crazy amount of Vampire Kings. Okay, can I fit any more here? I will sell the Cobras at some point. But only after, I think here's what I want to do. So that's a lot of Vampire Kings. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple Cobras here on Strong. And then pair them with, I don't know, let's go for 2 Hunts and Abadeers. And I think 2 Hunts and Abadeers is good. Let's actually, do we have, I believe in this party we do have, yes. So, wait. No, really? I thought you could place this stuff, it was just considered water territory. Now you just straight up can't place on this map? Well, that sucks. This is actually one of the worst maps for this then. Because I was going to say we actually have Lady Unicorns, we can plant stuff on water too, but it does not appear to be the case, which is too bad. Anyway, so that's 1 Hunts and Abadeer. Do I sell Vampire King for this? No, there's still room. Of course there's still room. So we're going to end up with 2 of these. Let's just keep them on first. Like, put this one on first? I did. So this guy's on Strong. We'll upgrade him to max. Then we're just going to keep spamming tech tears here. Anything, like, these guys are mostly meant for bad balloon damage. This is a really good strategy. Okay, so here's the deal. You may be asking, wait, why is this such a good strategy? And to that, I have a few very specific answers. And the main one here is that Vampire Kings don't produce lag. Sorry, I don't even know if I mentioned what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a strategy for, like, round 100 motion games, but also this is just an epic strategy for Attack of the Clones. Like, look at this photo. I was thinking about a thumbnail idea. No thumbnail for me. Look at this pile of Cobras. Or look at this, the Vampire Kings, that's the thumbnail. Any one of these islands could be a thumbnail. And it would be absolutely perfect no matter which one I chose. Like, this is silly. Like, silly amounts of powerful. Like, yeah, because the vampires produce no lag and will pretty much destroy any non-bad balloon. Like, I know balloons get stronger, but if, like, 4 or 5 Vampire Kings can pretty easily demolish a ZMG, then can you imagine what the power of, like, 12 can? Well, they're under, like, 30% attack speed buffs plus Cougar meter. It would be pretty insane. Well, you know, I'm just keep piling on more and more tech terrors here to help deal with the bad balloons. It's only been 12 minutes into this recording, and look at this nonsense. Not to mention, again, as I've said, at some point, I could just sell these Cobras. Like, I don't need to keep them here. I can sell them once I'm happy with the amount of money we have. Which probably won't happen for a while, but still, it's an option nonetheless. Oh, like, there's so much more room. I could fill the back island entirely with another island of Vampire Kings. This front island, filling it with tech tears is going to take a while, but it won't take forever. This is so good. This is so very, very good. I can't believe I came up with this. I just logged on, I was like, oh, I'll probably do Ultra Buff Vampire King, and I'm like, no. What do you know? It's a Motion Games. What would be a cool Motion Games Attack of the Clone thing to do? Huh, I've never tried Warrior PP before. I wonder if her ally count upgrades stack. Turns out, they do. If you're not currently trying this, because I'm pretty sure the Motion Games are, like, everywhere, like, in unison, I think. So, if your Motion Games right now are Attack of the Clones, and you're watching this video, if you're not trying this already, I don't know what you're doing. You're clearly making a mistake. Look at those DTs. Sorry, did you not see them? It's because they got annihilated. This is so crazy. Like, so much better than I was expecting. I was expecting maybe it would stack once and that would be disappointing. Or maybe it would stack, but there would be like an ally limit or something. No, there's no limit here. There's no limit here at all. Like, I mean, they have the money cap. I think originally in the updates, they didn't actually have the money cap. Can you imagine this without the money cap? It would literally be just armies of tech terrors. Like, I guess the only thing that makes it somewhat more balanced is you can't use this with, like, 2 sun gods or something. But you know what you can use this with? What you can use this with is Commander Cassie. So granted, you wouldn't have infinite Vampire Kings, but both Tech Tiers and Cobras, you would have infinite of using Commander Cassie, at which point, Commander Cassie is a very expensive high damage tower that has a full map range component. It would be insane. It would be absolutely crazy. Crazy beyond belief. Okay, so I feel like this is enough tech terrors. I feel like I should start selling off some beamers. Or some Cobras, rather. I'm not gonna sell a ton. Let's just do, like, 3 or 4 of them. That's probably good for now. So we sold off some of those. I think that's enough tech tears for now. What I'm gonna do is then go for... Also, I'm pretty sure this attack speed buff stacks with the Cobra's money-making gain. I didn't believe that at first, but I do now. That was a fortified bad balloon, by the way. Did you like how fast it was annihilated? I did, but it wasn't fast enough, so you know what I'm gonna go for now? More Vampire Kings! Oh, and by the way, while we're here, let's just get an extra ally to every single Vampire King I haven't gotten yet. We're gonna fill this up. Eventually, this island's gonna get filled up with Vampire Kings too, and then we'll get some more tech tears at the front, or we'll fill the other mini island with tech tears, and it's gonna be absolutely absurd. Also, I don't know why I actually upgraded one of these Cobras. I don't actually have any abilities, which is honestly just the saddest thing ever. Also, why did I buy you? No, Warrior PB, I just bought her with the, like, Archer upgrade. No. Get you back in here. I only want you for the ally count. That's it. I don't want your other upgrades. This is so nutty. I really wish, like, this is really too bad that you can't place Lady Rainicorn here. Because that's the thing, if you have Lady Rainicorn too, you don't even need a map with, like, water or lava. That doesn't matter. And I mean, we're still demolishing this so quickly, and I'm only gonna add more towers. I'm not gonna just stop adding towers at some point. Every time, if we get more money, then I add more towers. I get more room, I add more towers. That was not the character I meant to upgrade. I upgraded a Cobra, my mistake. We're still reaching the money cap pretty easily, so I think we're fine for the time being. Just anywhere on this island that I can fit a Vampire King. Really? I'm gonna have to sell some more already. Nope, there was a spot there. One more Vampire King. Ignore the fact that I keep accidentally upgrading Cobras. I'll just sell them off. Like, I'm just slowly selling off Cobras for Vampire Kings. And realistically, you get to a point pretty early on where the actual, like, cash you gain from income isn't even all that important because you just get so much money from the balloons themselves. So I feel like we'll reach that pretty soon, and then it just won't matter. Like, I'm sort of stockpiling money here, but not really. And we're still easily reaching the cash cap because these rounds are just getting longer and longer. Unfortunately, this puts me in a situation where I basically need to decide, hey, wait a sec. This is gonna go on forever. When do I cut this video? So, I've done this a lot of times before, and I think I know what I'm gonna do. Whenever you get late game Martian games, if you didn't know, even if there's not lag, which we're doing a pretty good job of avoiding, it's still a lot. Like, the rounds just last forever. They take a long time. Even if they're easy, they take forever. And it's just not a very easy thing to do. And I'm not on a PC. I'm playing on mobile, as I'm sure most of you play this game. So, it's not exactly like I have a supercomputer on the back end. I have whatever computer can be fit into, like, a millimeter inch, or millimeter, no, I don't know why I said inch. A millimeter wide, like, screen or whatever. So, it's not exactly the best of uses. Or the best of hardware, I guess. But yeah, this is really crazy. Okay, I feel like I've sold a lot of Cobras now. I'm gonna wait here for a bit. I think what I'm gonna do, I normally do this, I'm gonna call it around 30, which basically means that on round 30, I'm going, also, I can fit one more here. I'm just gonna go, let's just go for one more Hunts and Abadir in the middle over here. We'll have one on, let's go for one on each island, actually. One more Cobra will be sold, only one more. And then we'll sell that for a fourth Hunts and Abadir, which should be more than enough. This is such an epic strategy. I love this strategy. Next time there's a map with just, like, a lot more space, because we're so limited on this map. You can fit a lot of stuff on these circles, but the map itself isn't that big compared to the size of the actual map itself. So you can fit so many towers on certain maps, just, like, fill it with Vampire Kings. This is so crazy. And the thing is, because we have all of these, all these Warrior PBs, even if we were actually worried about DTs or anything like that, they would just get one-shotted if I placed a few more Warrior PBs in. Like, even if I just bought all these upgrades, each Warrior PB here has the ability, has like a 2% chance or 1% chance or whatever, to just one-shot whatever they hit. So it wouldn't even matter what happens. It wouldn't even matter what comes. They'd still get one-shotted no matter what. Oh, this is absurd. So very absurd. Or, you know, I could just wait for the Vampire Kings to deal with the DTs themselves, because that won't take very long either. The real question is do I have the patience, or whatever, to survive another, like, 75 rounds of this? And to that, I really don't know. Or storage, honestly, that could be an issue, too. I don't know about you, but if you've ever tried to record, like, a 2 or 3 hour long thing, that would not work very well. So I think what I'm gonna have to do probably is on round 30, I'm gonna basically say a mini outro thing, and I'm gonna keep this going. I guess I'm gonna plug in my device so it doesn't die. And I'm gonna keep this going for a while, and if we're still alive on round 50, or if we're about to die, or if we have died, because that happens a lot too, I'm gonna come back in and we'll see what happens. But yeah, so that's sort of my plan. And if round 50 goes, I'll probably stay for a round or two and then check it on rounds, like every 10 rounds or something like that. I feel like that makes the most sense. So that would be really, really cool, which is kind of crazy. I was not expecting this to work so well. I have a video called, like, Ultimate Ally Strategy. I think I'm gonna have to remake it because look at this! Ultimate Ally Strategy, no. The ultimate ally strategy. The absolutely ultimate ally strategy. Like, this is so nutty. I've said that a lot, I know, but come on. Can you really blame me? Look at this. I'm just seeing if I can fit. I can. I'm like, wait, I know it for a fact I can fit at least one more tech terror here. They're actually not that big compared to how large their footprint is in other B2B games. Tech terrors really don't take up that much space in this game. So it's worth a shot to keep taking a look at the edges of islands. Because these islands, their edges actually contain a lot of areas where they can be placed. Or even something like Vampire King, because they take up less space, I think. Just circle the edge of the map. Eventually, I'll find a tiny crevice where I can fit one more tower. And who knows, maybe that tower will be the difference between losing and winning the game. Yeah. So this is round 29, I'll play round 29, and then round 30, and then we will stop. But I don't think we're losing this. Like, I really don't. This strategy does not rely on abilities. I have no abilities here, which means a very important thing of, there's no lag. Can I tell you what, honestly, one of the biggest mistakes I think I made was, I took off treasure chest keys from these warrior PBs. I'm like, nah, they won't hit anyone. And to be fair, it's pretty unlikely, since one-shots don't count, that they would end up getting me many treasure chests. But even if they only got a few every once in a while, if I'm actually taking this to late game rounds, it's gonna be nutty no matter what. So yeah, I guess this is the last round for a bit, and then, then we'll be back. I'm just reading now at the Democracy of the Ocean sign. That's pretty funny. We have, like, the tiny orange fish eating the black pelt, then a bigger yellow fish eating the orange fish, and then a giant blue fish eating the yellow fish. So let me think this through. The balloons are the orange fish, the bad balloons are the yellow fish, and this strategy is the blue fish. That's my analogy for today. Oh, this is so good. Like, this is so good. Because the tech terrors do a base of 2 damage with Cougar Meter you do 5 damage, so 2.5 times the damage. That's insane. Like, that's actually insane. Honestly, I think what I'm gonna do now is just continue. So obviously it's round 30, it's just about done. It's round 31 now, great. Hey, I claimed the motion throne! You know at the start I was like, hey, can you imagine if I claimed the motion throne? Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I can totally imagine it. Look at this nonsense. So I think I'm actually just gonna keep on selling some more Cobras. Work on filling all of the islands with Vampire Kings. And then, yeah, any extra income, obviously, I could always sell a Vampire King to buy a Cobra if I wanted to. So that's probably my plan. I think so, at least. So I'm probably going to do that, obviously. I'm going to plug in my device, make sure I have the ability to actually handle everything crazy going on here. I'm also in part going for Vampire Kings because I think they're the least laggy. So, by the way, this is 3/4 of our Vampire Kings available currently. So we may have to plop down an extra 1 or 2 Warrior PBs at some point to get a few more of these, but still, we can increase our Vampire count, or Vampire King count, by another 33% still, so we still got plenty of space left. Also, I do acknowledge that these placements are not perfect. I'm not an expert at placing these towers, and I will 100%, like, lose efficiency. I might be able to place 1 or 2 more Vampire Kings, or 1 more Tech Terror, if I was slightly more effective. So, that's a heads up in advance. I know that's gonna happen. I'm sorry in advance, but it's gonna happen. So I just keep going here. I don't know. I guess I've decided to keep talking. Lag came. Why is there so much lag? I feel like they have an artificial limit or something. Because I just placed a Vampire King and all of a sudden there was a lot of lag there. And these are like this is like the least laggy defense ever. All their animation is a tiny flicker and balloons just die. Maybe there's a lot of, like, math behind the surface, but still. Anyways, I guess I will see you when we're about to die, or on round 50, hopefully on round 50. I've had so many times where I'm like, oh, maybe this will be the one to take me to round 100. I have a lot of faith in this setup. So yeah, I guess, I will see you all in a little bit. Bye! Okay, so, I'm back. It's only round 36, it's only been 5 rounds, which, just to clarify, those 5 rounds, it's actually been half an hour of the game running. Yeah, that's just something to let you know. It's been on fast forward the whole time, by the way. It was just slowed down when I paused. As you can see, though, fortified baboons are starting to not die nearly as fast as they did before. And they're now making it near the end, and then the DTs get decamoed at this, like, 3rd section, and then the ceramics almost leak and kill me, so starting to get a little bit more scared. I've sold, obviously, as you can see, quite a few, obviously, all the Cobras on the left to Vampire Kings, and, over half the Cobras in the, like, middle island to Tech Terrors, but we're still getting really close to dying. I don't know how bad it's gonna get. It's kind of silly. In my mind, I'm like, oh, our defense is, like, astronomically unbeatable. It's insane, it's overpowered, whatever. No way it's getting destroyed. And then what happened was, it's each slowly but surely, baboons made it farther, and farther, and farther, and then they won! As you can see here, as each fortified baboon comes, it's a little delay targeting that one, and when you get, like, 10 of them in a row, it's a bit of an issue. Like, there's a bunch of fortified DET spam here, which is easy. But then another fortified baboon, and the Vampire Kings and our Tech Terriers are busy, and so it dies a little bit sooner, or a little bit later. It gets popped a little bit later, and there's this baboon, it gets popped just a wee bit later. And every time it happens, it gets worse and worse and worse, and we get closer and closer to dying. Look at that DT, it made it to our final exit. So yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit worried here, just a little bit. And I don't know what's gonna happen. The balloons are getting faster, they're getting stronger, like astronomically stronger. Like easily 3 or 4 times, probably more like 5 or 6 times in strength. And they're easily moving twice as fast, if not faster. Like obviously, currently it looks like we might lead to like reds and yellows, in which case, well that sucks, but that's really not that big of a deal, all things considered. But if it gets much worse than that, we're kind of stuck. Like, we look here, we're able to deal with it barely at this point, but those were, like, that's the last bend they're turning. They are turning the last bend, and we're getting real close to dying. So I'm adding 1 more Tech Terror here, but that's all I can afford. Every couple rounds I can add, or every 2 or so rounds I can add 1 more Tech Terror, but when each round lasts, like, 5 minutes, that's not that much. And yeah. Honestly, I don't know if round 100 is possible anymore. I mean, I didn't think this was something I could do. And then when I saw this, I'm like, oh, 1 more OP mechanism with Motion Games Attack of Clones that might just get me to round 100, and then it doesn't. I don't know, maybe on Motion Games, ramping is increased, and maybe you're only really meant to beat round 100 in normal mode, and maybe on Motion Games it's almost impossible. Or on Attack of the Clones it's almost impossible, rather. I don't know. Maybe it's just really difficult. Maybe it got harder to do. I don't know. I know when normal beats D6, free play got buffed a lot. You used to be able to make it to like round 500 easy, and now beating like round 300 is almost impossible. You need some stupidly overpowered towers to do it. Ultra buffed everything, all buffs on like the max temple. And maybe it's kind of like that in BT or in Bloons Spectrum Tower Defense, just a little different, where we used to be able to get to like round 100, 120, not that bad. Now you're struggling to get to round 40 or 50. But unfortunately, that hidden achievement is still there to reach round 100. And every single time I get my hopes up, and every single time something like this happens, and we pretty much end up dead. Obviously, we're not dead yet. I can afford another Tech Terror every single time I say it. But we're still so far away. Like, it feels like we're getting really close. But I don't know, I started recording again now. Maybe we won't die for another 12 rounds. I don't know. This recording gets to like 15 minutes, I'm declaring it victory and turning it off again, but it's hectic. Like, a lot of stuff happens very quickly, lots of things are very powerful, and then we die. So I don't know, if any of you guys have had a recent round 100 Motion Games victory, or even just a round 100 Motion Games victory at all, let me know how. What was your build? What was your strategy? What did you do? What were the rules? What was the map? I don't know, something. Let me know what happened, because I'm pretty sure this fortified bad balloon is about to be the end of me. No, it's not. Oh, that's scary, scary, scary. each round they get like 20% stronger, which is the scariest part. Like, they get significantly stronger, an extra like 10, 20,000 HP every single time the round changes. That's a lot of health, and that's too much health for me. I mean, like, yeah, like each of these tech terrors, this tech terror over here, the one I just clicked on, that's 900. Wait, is that? Okay, no, it's only 964,000, but this dude's about to reach 1 million damage. There's only 300,000 in all of, like, there's only like 300,000 in all 75 rounds. This one tech terror is about to be at 1 million pops. Most of, like, these early on Vampire Kings have 500,000, and they're not all that different than newer, like the older ones. They're still already at like 300,000 pops, which is absurd. Honestly, I just want to see this dude reach 1 million. Maybe there's another tech terror in here I bought first, but I think that's the first one. Oh no! This one, did it just crop? It did just happen! 1,008,000 pops! This one's still 999,000, and it's at 1 million! Slowly but surely, every tech terror reaching 1 million pops. These people in the front have 458,000! A warrior PB has 458,000 pops without a damage build! I guess from the one-shots mostly, but like, come on! Look at this craziness. How does this happen in a real game? Oh, I don't know. And now I really am thinking that I just was, I don't know, scared. Like, that nothing's ever actually gonna happen. Maybe there was no need for me to panic and worry and sell all these towers because, or start recording again, because now it looks like we're fine again. Which is just great. Lag, no. Lag and DTs, they are a scary threat combined. I believe it's round 40 now. Yeah, round 40. Hey, if we beat this round, I get another, like, I don't know, 20 Martian gems. So let's keep going. Oh, this is crazy. Like, this is really crazy. Yeah. The funny thing is, I remember a long time ago, like, well before when I was significantly weaker, not even in Attack of the Clones, I made it to round 40-something. And it wasn't even in all that overpowered of a defense. But you know what? First bads came around like 30-something then. Now they're coming around 20. I wonder if, like, some people say that it scales with your character level. Maybe that's true. It must be to some degree, because it definitely happens. Like, Babylon's used to... Really? Are you kidding me, Towers? We didn't lose to a fortified DT. We didn't lose to a bad or anything. We lost to a normal DT. I know it came from a bad balloon, but still, a normal DT. That's ridiculous. Honestly, you know how I said if you've ever beaten around 100, change that. Just let me know what your highest round in the Martian games is. If it's above 40, honestly, I don't understand how it's possible at this point. That was like 50 Vampire Kings, a bunch of tech terrors, and they were all buffed, and we lost on round 40, so yay. I mean, I know it's a fortified map or whatever, but I don't think that makes that big of a difference. Oh, that was a lot. Thank you for watching, though. I hope you guys did enjoy. Definitely give the video a like if you're still here and subscribe to join the Purple Elephant Squad. Every once in a while, we do a Martian Games video, and I find some crazy new overpowered bug, or strategy, I guess, and then I fail anyways, so yay! But yeah, thank you all for watching, have a wonderful day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye!